So today we're going to talk about different ways that you can use imagery or visualization to reduce how much you're thinking about something that is not helpful to be thinking about. So a couple examples of times where people find that they are thinking about things that are just kind of overtaking and they're not helpful anymore are like things you can't control. So right now with the coronavirus, people are thinking about, when am I going to be able to get out of the house again? When is my job going to be safe when this all is over? Are my relatives safe? Are they going to be okay? Are they following the guidelines? Are they staying home? So those might be some things that are thoughts that are continuing to go through your mind. And they're things that you know that you can't do anything about, and they're probably causing more anxiety and more physical sensations than you necessarily want. So a lot of people realize when they are having a lot of those thoughts that they have some physical sensations or some physical responses. A lot of times it can be tension. So you might notice if you think about head to toe where you're feeling it, a lot of people feel tension in their jaws, tension in their necks. They might realize, like, if they start to focus, if they ask themselves, are my shoulders tense? And they relax, they're like, oh yes, those were very tense. They might notice like a tightness in their chest. They might notice stomach things. So all of those are kind of telling us that there is a lot of anxiety and a lot of worry going on. So to be able to release some of that can be really helpful. So our first one that we're going to talk about is breathing in and out. So that one is, we think about our worry and we visualize it inside our body, and we take a big breath and try and focus on getting breath all the way to your toes, out of your stomach, like to your fingertips. And we're going to breathe that worry out. So we're going to breathe out really big. And we're going to focus on visualizing all the way from our toes and our fingertips all the way out. And so we're like kind of in with the good, out with the not so good. So we're going to take this big cleansing breath and let out that worry. So while we're doing it, we're going to think about, this is not a worry that I need to be thinking about right now. I can't do anything about it, or I can't change it right now. So we're just going to do that a few times and focus on that thought of getting this worry out of your mind, while also kind of paying attention to what it feels like to get that big breath out. So some people like to add a little bit to this. They'll add like a color. So they'll think of like a different worry as a different color. So is my job going to be safe? They might think of that as purple. So they're going to breathe in this nice clear air and then breathe out this purple breath. So that's the first one, this kind of imagery and releasing some of those maybe unhelpful or negative thoughts. The next one is visualizing a file cabinet. So you visualize a file cabinet in your mind. So it can be a 2-drawer, it can be a 4-drawer, it can be a lateral, it can be whatever kind you want. And you're just filing those things away. So I'm going to put job worries in the job worry file. I can get it out when I need it. Otherwise, it's going in there and I'm shutting that door. So you're not actually physically, but you're visualizing you physically putting the file of worry about a job into the file cabinet. It's there when you need it. And you can also think about, like, where does that file cabinet go when you're not using it anymore? How do you access it again? You can get down to like, what color are the file folders? Thinking about that helps to give your brain that idea that you are putting it away. It's going to the side. It's not helpful to think about right now. Another one that has been around for a really long time, we use this a lot with kids, is a worry jar. So you can actually do a worry jar, like have a physical jar that you write down those things and put it in there, or you can just imagine it. So I like to teach people how to really think about it in their mind, because you don't always have a physical jar. So think about that jar. Is it a small jar? Is it a big jar? Is it a mason jar? Is it an old pickle jar? How big is it? Is it colored? Like, does it have a blue tint, a green tint? Is it clear? What kind of lid does it have? Think about what those worries look like when they go in there. Are they little pieces of paper? Are they marbles? Are they little Polaroids, like those little tiny ones? Like, what does it look like when you put them in there? And then where does it go when you're done with it in your mind? Where does that worry jar go? So again, you can do that like an actual physical worry jar, or you can kind of think about it in your mind. And I really like the visualization of it in your mind because you can access that whenever and wherever you are. So our fourth one is clouds. So it's thinking about putting that worry on a cloud and it's drifting off. So again, like the worry jar, you can think about what does that worry look like when it gets onto the jar. Is it another cloud? Is it like just energy? So I want you to kind of visualize what that could look like getting on the cloud. So your worry is on a cloud and it's floating away, which goes into our next one, our fifth one, which is balloons. So visualizing your worry either in the balloon or attached to the balloon, and then the balloon flies away. So the balloons are great because you can think about all kinds of different colors and shapes and designs on different balloons for different worries. Clouds, you're more limited. Well, I guess not. I mean, you could have a colored cloud, I guess. It's your cloud, so you can do whatever you want with it. But having that visualization of that worry going on that cloud and leaving your mind for a minute. The next thing about this that's really important is when you think about putting your worries, like releasing your worries from your mind at that moment, it's really important to think about some gratitude things. So try and reshift your focus to some things that are here and now that are true, that you're grateful for. And those can be anything like, I'm glad that my apartment is not flooded. Last year, there was a lot of floods and that kind of stuff. So it can be like, I'm glad my apartment's not flooded. I'm thankful for FaceTime so I can talk to my family that I can't see. So those kinds of things can be helpful to reshift your focus from a worry to a little bit more positive. So hope that helps. Thanks.